Today on KXAN News at 5, an Austin police officer indicted a year after a man was shot and killed outside his home. New details we just learned from the district attorney and the charges facing the officer.
And with the holiday travel season upon us, find out which airport just set another passenger record and which Texas airport reports the most guns seized at security.
And scattered rain is developing this evening, kicking off a multi-day stretch of wet weather. When to expect the most widespread rain in first warning weather.
A grand jury indicted an Austin police officer in connection with the deadly shooting of a South Austin man. And now the man's mother is indicating it's not enough. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I'm Mike Rush.
And I'm Jennifer Sanders. Rajan Munasinga was shot and killed outside his home last year. Munasinga had a gun when police arrived and had fired it inside his home. Officer Daniel Sanchez was placed on administrative leave after that shooting. And now, a year later, Sanchez faces a charge of deadly conduct. Nabil Ramana joining us now. So you just heard from Munasinga's mother.
That's right. That press release just happened. And this is a story we've covered from the beginning when it first started. So we're getting new details here as mentioned. Now, again, we just heard from the mother. She just gave a statement about the indictment. Here it is.
Our family is thankful for the hard work that the Travis County DA's office has put in so far to present evidence to the grand jury and seek justice for Rajan. However, there is more work to be done. We call on the Austin Police Department to stop issuing statements about my son that they know are false.
Now, as for APD, they released a statement about the indictment saying APD officers are trained to respond to acts of violence and prevent injuries to innocent persons, and that Officer Sanchez was confronted with a subject who fired a rifle indiscriminately in a densely populated neighborhood. They went on to say Officer Sanchez responded to that threat consistent with his training and that APD will continue to support him. Here's the video from that night. This portion comes after calls went out to 911 about someone firing a gun. Officers arrived at the scene, and as one of the officers pulled up to the residence, he heard gunshots. Here's what happened next.
Draw the gun!
Now, we also received this statement from Officer Sanchez's attorney saying the fact that Officer Sanchez was indicted for deadly conduct further exemplifies Jose Garza's continued attack on Austin police officers. He went on to say he fully is confident that when a jury hears all of the facts in this case, that Officer Sanchez will be exonerated. Now, over the summer, a family spoke about rewarding officers who use de-escalation tactics. Rajan's oldest brother said police should establish a preservation of life medal that commends those that employ de-escalation tactics to preserve a life. Now, he also went on to say that the foundation that they created by his family in memory of Rajan would even fund such an effort.
All right, Nabil, thanks so much. And coming up at 6 o'clock right here on KXAN, you'll hear more about the charge handed down and more from the press conference. We do have more breaking news at 5 o'clock. A Travis County judge ordered Attorney General Ken Paxton to give sworn testimony in the whistleblower lawsuit against his office. Now, that's the lawsuit filed by former employees who got fired after reporting Paxton's alleged misconduct to the FBI. Paxton's attorneys did not say whether they would appeal the decision. The story is still developing, and we'll have new details in a live report on KXAN News at 6.
An Amber Alert has been issued for 3 children in North Texas. DPS says 5-year-old Umar Ali, 8-year-old Aisha Ali, and 16-year-old Zainab Ali were taken in Princeton, Texas this morning. That's in Collin County, about an hour north of Dallas. DPS says the suspect is 37-year-old Nazia Ali. She may be driving a 2017 black Mercedes-Benz 300. If you see the children or the suspect, please call 911.
First warning weather with Chief Meteorologist David Yeomans.
Well, don't be surprised if you see a little light rain moving through your neighborhood this evening. Not only the high clouds that we saw yesterday, but these low, ominous looking clouds. Low level moisture and humidity has increased. It's warmer out there tonight as well. 69 on the Ewald Kubota cam live in Georgetown. Clouds are pretty widespread, and notice over the past 2 to 3 hours of little blossoming of some light rain showers, mainly from Austin eastward out to Fayette and Lee counties. The most impactful light rain rain shower that we're seeing. It's this little wave of broken showers from Buda out toward Dripping Springs and areas northeast of Pedernales Falls State Park, just southwest of downtown Austin at the Y at Oak Hill. A little light to moderate rain moving through, and these could make some roads slippery in some areas this evening. Coming up, the isolated rain right now is kicking off a period of wet weather. We'll talk about your holiday weekend travel plans and how chilly it'll get by Christmas Day.
Thanks, David. We are getting new information about what happened during a chaotic shooting on 6th Street Saturday night.
And that shooting left one person dead and 3 others injured. KXAN investigator Matt Grant explains what led Austin police to open fire in a busy tourist area.
Did the suspect fire his weapon at all?
There are indications that the suspect discharged his firearm.
Hours after the shooting, interim Austin Police Chief Robin Henderson told me she believed the suspect opened fire. That's now backed up in court records. According to a search warrant affidavit KXAN investigators obtained, the 3 responding police officers were within 2 to 3 feet of the suspect when he reached into his waistband, pulled out a gun, and fired multiple rounds at them. The officers returned fire, shooting and killing the suspect, who still hasn't been identified. None of the officers were injured, but 3 innocent bystanders were, one in critical condition, the other 2 with non-life-threatening injuries. According to the affidavit, it happened here at the Soho Lounge on East 6th Street shortly before midnight on Saturday. Police came after a bar employee said the suspect tried to enter with a handgun, refusing to be patted down for weapons.
According to this new search warrant, Austin police will be looking at a number of things. That includes surveillance video, fingerprints, and any ballistic evidence, including bullets or fragments that might have went inside the club. And you can see here on the door, remnants still remain.
The outside door and windows are peppered with damage. The affidavit confirms multiple projectiles did in fact enter the Soho Lounge, saying the glass had multiple holes in it and some projectiles may have passed through the suspect. It's still unknown if those rounds may have hit anyone inside.
That remains to be seen. There were several shots that were fired, and we're still determining that.
In Austin, Matt Grant, KXAN investigates.
And per department policy, Austin police said it will release body camera video of the incident within 10 business days. Because of the holidays, though, that might not be until January 2nd. Now, we did ask APD for an update on the 3 bystanders' conditions and the nature of their injuries. We are waiting to hear back.
Still to come, a small doll, a big show of support. The story of a young burn victim and her family working to make the holiday season a little less stressful for kids in the burn unit.
And the nation's Homeland Security chief weighs in on border security as a record number of migrants are apprehended in one Texas town.
And dozens injured, and a chemical leak sends nearly 30 people to the hospital at a Tennessee cheese factory. That's coming up next. Nearly 30 people were sent to hospitals in East Tennessee today following a series of anhydrous ammonia leaks at a cheese factory. Officials say more than 50 other employees are being monitored. They add the leaks have been secured and there is no danger to the public there. No word yet on the conditions of the people who were taken to the hospital. Now, anhydrous ammonia is often used as a refrigerant in large plants and is typically stored in sealed tanks. According to the Environmental Protection Agency, if accidentally released, anhydrous ammonia can result in chemical-type burns to the skin, eyes, and lungs.
Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas arrived on Capitol Hill this morning for border security talks. Some Republicans are holding up aid for Ukraine in an effort to get a deal that would increase border security. Senate leaders say progress is being made on the deal, with leaders from both parties agreeing that fixing America's immigration system is a serious issue. On our state's border today, large crowds of migrants could be seen waiting to be processed in Eagle Pass. And then on Monday, a record 12,000 migrants were apprehended at the border in a single day.
Still to come, a little girl with a big mission, how she's bringing hope to the kids at the very hospital where she was once treated.
And always nice to see some dark clouds and a little light rain in the vicinity of Lake Travis. Live from our Oasis camera, always on KXAN.com. Unfortunately, we haven't even seen any measurable rain, and Lake Travis has fallen another inch. But we do have some more on the way, coming up next in First Warning Weather.
Burns are a leading cause of accidental injury to children, especially under the age of 5.
Yeah, a 4-year-old Texas girl injured after an accident with an iron earlier this year is now helping others heal. Here's Meredith Yeomans.
fast. It happened in the blink of an eye.
7 months after landing in the burn clinic at Medical City Plano, 4-year-old Penelope Reyes is back.
She's supposed to go into the closet and get her shoes, and the next thing you know, like, she had an accident with the iron.
Reyes suffered 2nd and 3rd degree burns to her face and arm. In the burn unit, her mother said Penelope had to undergo an excruciatingly painful process to clean the wound.
And she was crying hysterically.
Then she was handed this.
When they gave her the mermaid doll, she was super excited. She was super happy. She, it didn't take away her pain, but it made her more calm. It soothed her at that time.
Penelope is on the mend, and as the scars slowly fade, the memory of what eased fears that day hasn't.
Who's your favorite princess? Jasmine.
The Reyes family began collecting dolls after their accident, and this month donated nearly 70 to pediatric burn patients.
We've had a lot of little kids come in recently, and to be able to hand them a doll and to see their little faces light up, it's been a wonderful holiday season so far because of Penelope and her family.
Paying it forward.
Yeah, Santa's gonna come to our house.
With the gift of gratitude. Meredith Yeomans, NBC5.
First warning weather with Chief Meteorologist David Yeomans.
Well, a multi-day period of some welcome on and off light rain starts now. We've seen an increase in low-level moisture leading to more ominous clouds on the Austonian weather cam this evening. And look right there, you can actually see the rain falling from the clouds just west of downtown Austin. Only a few isolated showers so far, and a little warmer this afternoon at 68. Notice some of the only rain we're seeing in the metro is what I just showed you. Zooming in here just west of downtown Austin, we've got a few showers down south, sure, but a little more concentrated area of some brief, steady rain moving northward through Bee Cave up towards 620 and 4 Points. This is going to be making some roads slick west of Austin during the evening drive, so be careful. Pollen count, this is actually aided, at least for cedar sufferers, by some falling rain. Cedar is even lower today, mold staying low as well. Clouds are still pouring into the state. You see some rain and mountain snow ramping up in the desert southwest. This is all part of that really impressive pinwheeling storm, which is now pulling up stationary, stalled out just west of California. Ahead of it, we've got this atmospheric moisture and energy kicking off a wet weather period here locally. This is also going to kick off some more snow accumulations at your favorite ski resort. Running the models all the way through Christmas Eve, we're talking 6 to 12 inches, maybe 18 inches on the highest peaks. More and more ski areas opening, so be sure to book your trip out there if you'd like to do so. Rain coverage back here at home. First of all, no snow and ice over the holiday weekend in Texas. That's good news. Thursday, tomorrow, it gets a bit more numerous than today. Even wetter weather at times on Friday and Saturday. And it looks like the wettest day with periods of more widespread rain may actually come on Christmas Eve before dry weather comes back Christmas Day into next week. Perfect timing for your plans with the kids to play with the new toys on Christmas morning. This evening, in the meantime, if you are heading out to the Trail of Lights or something else outdoors in your own neighborhood, be advised a few of these little scattered light rain showers will be cruising through at times. Not a stormy evening, but a few drops of rain certainly possible. Overnight, still just a few isolated showers. But tomorrow, you'll notice after an isolated shower early, skies are completely cloudy all day, and the rain gets a little more widespread through midday and especially by afternoon and evening. Now, this is mostly quite light, so don't be too alarmed, but pretty damp weather from where I'm standing tomorrow evening through tomorrow night. On Friday, this computer model wants to bring in some heavier downpours, at least for a few of us on Friday. Fingers crossed that happens. Friday looks like it could be an even wetter day than Thursday. Running the models all the way through the next 7 days, we are thinking that most of us average about an inch of rain. This rain event doesn't look to be fizzling out like last Friday's rain event did. And don't pay too much attention to exactly what your number says. I'm not sure these heaviest downpours will happen exactly where they're shown. But again, most of us can plan on about an inch through the next 4 or 5 days. National travel delays. Fortunately, if you're heading out of town or out of state tomorrow, notice nothing big. Even on Friday, sure, some rain out west may cause some minor delays, but running the models through Saturday as well, we just don't have any big impactful winter storms that are going to create a travel headache. Great news. Okay, tonight, 57 degrees with some isolated showers, a little patchy fog. Tomorrow, not a stormy day, but a few scattered showers at times. High temperature of 66. Tomorrow, the winter solstice, first official day of winter on the 21st. Notice rain gets a bit more likely through Christmas Eve, but sunshine, cooler weather, and very pleasant winter conditions return starting Christmas Day.
All right, David, thank you. After the break, the Texas airport keeping TSA busy as it tops the list for most guns seized at security checkpoints.
Tonight on News Nation, the one and only Bill O'Reilly joins Chris live in studio to take on the day's biggest headlines. Tonight on Cuomo, only on News Nation. Then, a first listen to the never-before-heard tapes of notorious serial killer John Wayne Gacy, what the murderer revealed about his victims and dozens of other crimes. Tonight on Banfield, only on News Nation.
Colorado Supreme Court ruled former President Donald Trump's actions in the run-up to the January 6th Capitol attack disqualify him from being on the state's 2024 primary ballot. And now the Trump campaign has vowed to appeal to the U.S. Supreme Court. But with the state's primary less than 2 months away, the high court justices must decide pretty quickly if they'll hear an appeal. NBC's Alice Barr now has the latest from Washington.
An explosive ruling from the Colorado Supreme Court barring former President Trump from the state's 2024 primary ballot because he, quote, engaged in insurrection in trying to overturn the 2020 election is setting the stage for a U.S. Supreme Court appeal that could decide his eligibility in all 50 states. Mr. Trump calling it a sad day in America as even his Republican primary rivals came to his defense.
I do not believe Donald Trump should be prevented from being president of the United States by any court. I think he should be prevented from being president of the United States by the voters of this country.
I would pledge to withdraw from the Colorado GOP primary ballot unless Trump or every other candidate is also able to run.
Noting they did not reach their conclusions lightly, the Colorado justices ruled 4-3 that Mr. Trump is disqualified from being president again because of his role leading up to the January 6th Capitol attack, citing the Constitution's 14th Amendment that says no one can serve as an officer of the United States who engaged in insurrection or rebellion against the U.S. Similar challenges in other states have proven unsuccessful. President Biden would not comment on the legal case.
Well, now whether the 14th Amendment applies, I'll let the court make that decision. But he certainly supported an insurrection, and no question about it.
Former President Trump is already fundraising off the Colorado decision that his campaign called politically motivated and completely flawed. The ruling is on hold as the Trump team vows to appeal. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
Just in time for holiday travel season, more passenger records being set at Austin Bergstrom International Airport. So some new data released this week shows more than 2 million passengers flew in and out of AUS in October.
That's an almost 2% increase over last year. 4 of the top 10 busiest days of all time were this October, including October 23rd, which was the busiest day ever recorded at Austin's airport, with more than 43,000 passengers flying in and out. That was the Monday after F1 weekend. If you'd like to dig deeper into the numbers, check out digital data reporter Christopher Adams' story on KXAN.com. Just search airport record. And TSA says that it's detecting a record number of firearms at airports, with the Dallas-Fort Worth Airport ranking number 2 when it comes to guns seized at checkpoints. Coming up on NBC Nightly News at 5:30, Tom Costello takes you behind the security line at DFW with new details and other dangerous items agents are finding in bags.
No need to leave us behind if you're traveling this holiday season. KXAN now has daily podcasts, so you can listen to those in your car or anywhere you are. Just search KXAN wherever you get your podcasts, or you can find those on demand at KXAN.com/podcasts. We'll be right back.